Did you know improving your communication can double your net worth? Just because it's not your title doesn't mean you're not in sales. You are. Lloyd Day created and has taught this communication training for 30 plus years. Macy McNeely, Lloyd's daughter, and Catherine Schubert, a founding student, were struggling entrepreneurs who, after going under his wing and seeing their businesses quadruple, knew that this was the missing piece for so many others. That's how the Guide Culture training started and has taught over 500 students in just 2 short years. Sales is guiding people into a decision that is best for them. Guide Culture is not sales training, it's life training. We are a group of completely bought-in sales professionals who persuade for good. Here are your hosts, Macy, Loy, and Catherine.
Did you know that Coach Loy does a clubhouse room called School of Sales? And he comes on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Mountain Time, and 7 a.m. Pacific Time for live coaching, live training, and lots of answering questions. And it is such a good time. And today we have a special treat for you because that's exactly what you're going to get. One of those clubhouse rooms.
Yeah, Clubhouse isn't recorded. It's actually once it's over, it's over.
Right.
And so to be able to get Loy live, it's really cool to be there. But I know sometimes people can't.
Right.
And they wish that something had been recorded. Well, sometimes things do end up in a place where it can live forever. And that is something that is happening in this podcast.
Yes. So we hope you enjoy, and definitely be sure to join live in the clubhouse room Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If you follow the Guide Culture on Instagram, the exact clubhouse room link is usually linked in Instagram stories. So you can grab it there very quickly. Enjoy.
Good morning. Hope you guys are having a good morning so far. This is the final piece of the letter or the advice that I'm giving my great grandchildren, which means it applies today, 100 years from today, and 100 years ago. The same things apply. And this is kind of a wrap up. So I start this in the last part of the letters, like you learn and internalize these things with lifelong constant input of this material into your mind. And it's kind of important that we understand what are we learning, because we're learning something, we're doing something, we're going in some direction. So what are we learning is kind of critical. That's why you have to be smart about what you decide to learn. And a lot of times our gut would tell us, I need to learn this, I need to learn this. I know, like in the guide culture, we'll learn one thing, then we'll go try some marketing, then we're always learning and trying new things, but we have a purpose around the learning. And they're doing a great job. You do the same thing. Everybody said, well, I need this now, I need learning, but you want to discern and make sure you're learning the right things. And sometimes it can be also, who are you learning it with? You can see what environment, the other people that you're with, or who's teaching you, or you know, what credentials do they have, or is what they're giving you, is it truth? So learning is important, but learning the right thing is important. And because if you stay with it, it's going to become internalized, which means it becomes who you are. I just saw somebody on Instagram, they were got laid over by a flight and this, that, and the other, and couldn't. And so the thing was, people have been asking them, well, why aren't you like all upset that you got laid over here on this flight and you can't go do your plans or whatever? And the answer was, when you start personal development, you learn to look at everything in a positive light, and you make the good out of everything. And that's really what we're doing. We live in the positivity arena, and we find what's next in a good way. And I'm going to talk about hope in a minute. And so we came up with this formula. It's called the GRIT formula, G-R-I-T, and it falls right into this thing about about learning and internalizing. That means the growth mindset, which is that, the positivity thing we're talking about. They're always trying to grow towards something because we know we're going somewhere. And the R is you're doing it for a reason. Then I is with intensity, and T is over a period of time. And that's how things get internalized. If you're growing, because if you're not doing it for a reason, you won't care enough about it to really try to learn it. But if you get in there where there's some passion, you really care about it, something you really want. So you put that formula together, and that's really the learning internalized formula is really what that is. And the second part of this, and then I said, as you learn, you will start to dream. As you learn, you will start to dream. And maybe you dream first, I don't know. But the dream and learning go together because we have to look out there and see something that we want to go toward. And there's a couple of reasons that that's kind of important, and it's in your gut. I don't know that you can actually just make yourself do this, but if you're doing this, and I feel like that's a good thing. I just finished another Storyworth thing, and the whole thing was about, well, the question was, when were you the happiest in your life and why? Now, I'm in my 60s now, so I can go back and look at all this, and I can reminisce and think, when was I the happiest? And what were the circumstances around that when I felt the happiest? Happiest meaning internally happy, just happy. And I went through all these events, and I remember them, and there's several of them, but there were some that really stood out. And there was three things that I could put together that were happening during those happiest times of my life. And the three things were faith, love, and hope. So let's just think about hope for a second. The hope usually was when I caught one of these dreams or one of these visions. I could see myself going somewhere. I could see myself with an opportunity. I saw the direction. I was headed in the direction. I was doing all the things. It felt good. But the faith was there, and there that I was connected, trying to be spiritually strong. And then love. Anytime you have friends and love and you're accepted, and you go someplace, you feel good about it. People like you, you like the people. So when you put all these in your family, love for God, all these things. So when you put faith, love, and hope together, when they intersect together, there's a huge happiness right there. Happiness could be the same thing as blessed. Blessed means spiritually happy. So the hope is what comes in here. And the dream, when you can see the vision, you see something you want, you start going for it, and you can see that you can get there. And it may be just a little ways. And then when you get somewhere, you may see another one. But that dream, that hope is really important part of the happiness factor, in my opinion. And the other thing that, and as you learn and do all these things, you learn and observe, and then you have to learn things, observe things, and then you have to take some action and do some things and try it. And that's where you find the success. And we have the success formula, we think, is when your passion, your talent, and noble cause intersect. That you're doing something you're pretty good at, you have a gift for it, you're fired up about it, you really want to do it, and you feel like you're doing it for the right reasons, then that's kind of what we call the success formula. We think that's where that is, because anybody can be successful as long as you're doing those three things. Which takes us into the good and pure. We talked about the good and pure in here. I said, keep your mind in the good and pure. And I love it when I read something, it confirms what I'm thinking. It confirms what I've observed, what I've done, what I believe to be true. And it's so important. This Business Secrets from the Bible that we're reading, the very next chapter, it talks about this. He talks about how really you're doing these goods and services or whatever, and you're trading it for a dollar bill or a coin. And the only reason that dollar bill, that coin is worth anything is because we have faith in it. We believe it's worth something. That's the only thing it's worth, is our belief in it. And he separates us from animals. Animals don't see the value in that. If you can't eat it, if they can't eat it or something, it's no value to them. But we have this faith thing going that allows us to do business. And when business and sales and all that can be slimy and bad if you make it that, but it can be a very rewarding spiritual thing if you make it about, you do the passion, the talent in a noble cause. That's where the noble cause comes in. It's got to be for the right reason, for the right people, with the right heart. And so the good and pure, but in order for that to come out, it's got to be in us. That's what we talk about. Stay connected to the source, continue to read scripture, worship, do these things, stay connected, because this is a faith game. This is a religious thing more than it is anything else, because it's all worked off of faith. And also, the only reason someone's going to trade or do business with me is if they trust me. And the only reason they trust me if I'm doing the right things, giving value in abundance, making sure I'm giving more. If I really try to give more than I'm getting back in return, and people can believe that, then there should be enough trust there to do business. So this thing really gets deep into the good and the pure. That's why we have to make ourselves good and pure. We have to internalize that. Just a couple of things I underlined in this book that I was reading on this particular chapter. He said, business success is actually secondary to our private relationship with God. It is precisely that relationship that makes sense of everything else. Finally, recognizing the congruence between work and spiritual reality, the business professional is all the better able to sell himself and his product. His work is creative and therefore a legitimate way of emulating God in his infinite creativity. So you can, I believe, and Rabbi Daniel Lapkin believes, you really can't separate the two. So that's when we say internalize yourself, whether you do business or whether you're, and even if you work with someone or for someone, if you're school teacher, whatever you're doing, it's still a business. I mean, the school teaching industry, you need to make these kids want to be in your class. You need to make the parents want to be there. And they need to feel all the same thing, because it's all coming from somewhere. And everything is a business-related type activity, really. And then the last thing I said in here was, finally, work harder than anyone as you earn your achievement. Work harder than anyone as you earn your achievement. I'm a true believer that we have to earn our way into everything. If you want to have confidence, you have to earn it. You just don't, yes, you say, I'm a confident person, and that's great. The confirmations are great, but you need to also go out and do things to make you that. You can't just say it, you have to practice it as well. Confidence comes from earning your way. Wealth comes from earning your way. If you want to go win a cheerleading competition, the team has to earn their way. Everybody has to do their part, work, and outwork the competition. Bear Bryant, the great football coach, they earned their way into wherever they got. It was not a gift. And I've said before, I believe one of the most dangerous things of any generational wealth is the next generation or the next generation to stop working, to think you don't have to work for this. It's just there. And so I really think the work ethic is so important. Yes, we tie work and life together, and but the family, the kids, they need to respect and understand that hard work is where it's at. If your kid is learning to be a baseball player or whatever, then they've got to go work it, go take some reps. And some of the best things a parent can do is get out there and throw balls to his daughter or son while they're trying to learn to hit. It's a great activity, working on the skill. So anyway, the work harder thing is really important because it is all earned. And then I went on to say, I know, then the last paragraph says, I know you will do these things because you understand that nothing is free. You always have to earn your way. You also understand that to whom much is given, much is expected. You have unique talent and great potential. You will earn your way into whatever you desire. So the question is, can you desire something enough to go earn your way into it? And so much of this desire really comes into what's in us. I mean, a lot of it comes from our background. Maybe it's something that's happened in the past that's given us a desire. So many people that have come from nothing have done so many great things because that background, that history, that suffering really gave them the desire to go do it. And once you have the desire, you start doing all the things necessary and earn your way into it. And we've told many people at Guide Culture, we're going to give you a lot of skills, a lot of tools, a lot of mindset things. We really can, some information that It's taken years and years and years and years to develop. This is one place you can get it all in one place. Save yourself about 30 years and come here and learn what we have to teach you. It's really good stuff. But it's only as good as the student. I was talking to someone yesterday. I said, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So when you're ready, this is powerful material, and it opens up on August 30. August 30, the last one for this year, and I would highly recommend getting in because there's so much good there. But the one thing I cannot give, we can give you all these tools. We cannot give you the desire. The desire has to be from within you. And honestly, to think it, to look at somebody that has something, and I want that, there's a lot of steps. I saw a thing on Facebook. It showed two ladders. One with the rungs about as high as you could reach with your arms, and the other, the rungs going up the ladder were little step size. And they say, which ladder do you want to climb? And it's got to be the little step size. You just go do a little piece at a time. The fun is in climbing the ladder. But if it's so high that you can't even get yourself up to the first rung, there's no fun anymore. So taking the little steps and moving towards the desire. So we don't, honestly, for me, I have never desired something like big. I want this big house. I want this, beach house. I've always just desired to get through the next pay period, just to get through the next thing, because I'm always just wanting to make sure I cover my alligators. That's always been my thinking process. Then over time, if you live very carefully, then things can have a chance of happening if you just keep doing it over and over. So the desire is not to have something. The right desire really should be just to be moving honestly towards the right direction is a good desire, I guess. I don't know. Now's a good time to raise your hand and maybe talk about what you're getting out of this and some desires that you feel that's really passionate within you, if you feel like sharing those. Hey, Becca.
Hey, Loy. I had a question just about, I like what you're sharing about desire. I am curious, how do you keep that desire, that fire going to continue doing what you're doing when you don't have a lot of wins? I feel like a lot of keeping that momentum going is like small wins and celebrating those and seeing those little successes when it's, I guess, kind of more of a valley, or you're not seeing those as much. What do you recommend to keep that momentum and that flame kind of burning?
Well, I think you shouldn't have to keep it burning. I think that either this is not working in the marketplace. Remember, we have to have things people want. It has to work in the marketplace. The marketplace will tell you. And so it has to work in the market. You need enough wins to see that it's working. And the other thing is when you consider your options and you figure out what are you doing this for. Like for me, I was doing it for my family. I had to feed my family, and so the burning desire to get ahead and go do what the mission was, to accomplish the mission, was there. But at the same time, I had, I did the photography business for a while. And I was like, man, this is not me full time, long term. This is just not me. I knew it wasn't a long term play. And then I did some installation, some labor work. I said, man, I can't do this forever. So I think there has to be a combination of, is it working in the marketplace, and what are you doing it for? But I've never, honestly, personally, never lost the desire. I just pivoted and go a different direction because I did or didn't like something, or I saw it or didn't see something. But I will say that everything I've done, if I can't get some wins and see that it's kind of working, I may pivot and go somewhere else. I need to see the wins. I need to see that it's going to work in the marketplace for me. So I don't know what you mean by that, because maybe you need to try some different techniques, or go to some different marketplaces, or get yourself in some Rotary meetings, go talk to some Rotaries, and, do some things different than just on Instagram. I don't know what you're doing, but if you got to get out there and market, you got to get out there and market. Macy, what do you think?
Yeah, Becca, I'm glad you said this, because it can be really discouraging when you're really like not talking to that many people, right? So if you think about like a farmer's market, just the activity of someone kind of walking up to your table and showing any kind of interest is a huge way to keep momentum up. what Lois said about like the Rotary meeting, I know that might sound like silly or dated, but honestly, something about like shocking yourself in a cold pool where you just shock your body, it like just reinvigorates whatever you're doing, and it really does stir the pot activity. Also Toastmasters, I know you're in academy, Becca, and so like you're doing that, which is huge, but really taking those skills that you're practicing in academy and driving them somewhere. Just go where people are and just talk to them, and it's really a stir the pot situation. One thing that I wanted just to say to anybody who's feeling this way, like I don't have people at my table at the farmers market. Like I feel like maybe you're even growing your audience and sales or the conversations aren't really reflecting. We have an event coming up on July the 30th at our Alpharetta headquarters called 3X Your Leads. And if you can, find a way to get there live, I think that it will be something you will not regret. It'll be one of the best decisions you can make, because that's really what we're going to talk about is, hey, how do I get more people at my table so that I can have my best shot at a sales conversation? And Becca, I know that you're in academy, and I'm sure we'll get it in academy. So you can just be looking for that. But being with people, and like Lloyd talking about going to Rotary or going to Toastmasters, like something about being with people, it really does stimulate creativity, and it really does stir the pot where you are kind of putting your conversation practices in action. Even if it's with somebody that's not a prospect, just listening to them talk about what they're dealing with, what they're going through, what problems that they have, you are gonna like things are gonna come to surface about other people's problems and what they're going through that you haven't been able to really experience online, which is going to help you connect to people online better. Like getting in. So imagine, just think about this as a cycle. You go to an event, you go to somewhere where people are, you start talking to them. Becca, I know you do Faster Way. So they start talking about how they are so sluggish, they're so exhausted. And you're like, well, why are you so, what's causing this? And you kind of dig deeper and you learn that, they're not fasting for 12 hours or whatever. They're eating late at night, they're eating early in the morning. This is the problems they're experiencing. And then based on that conversation, you are going to think about ideas of different content that's going to hit people differently and speak in a way where people want to come up to your table and want to talk to you, because that's what really matters, is that people want to come and talk to you so you can get in more sales conversations so that you can really convert those. Because I know you have the skills, Becca. It's just really getting in a position to put them into action more often. So I highly recommend, if you can do anything you can to possibly get to 3x your leads, it's on Friday, July the 30th. We're starting at 8:30. We're ending at 12:30. It's going to be so epic. I've been getting some reps in and I'm fired up about the content. And then you guys are going to actually get some reps in and practice. And that's really where the magic is, to have a low risk area to really practice and then also to really connect with people. So I hope that.
Yeah, and that's good. I mean, if you are in Fast Away, then you're in a program that does work. Other people have done it. That's the reason I got an insurance. I said, well, if other people have done it, I know good and well I can do it too. So if you're in that method, it works. So you don't have to worry about your program. You don't have to worry about, well, am I doing something that will even work? Well, that will. So all you have to do is get your fair share of the business. And we know you can do that. There's no question about that. So I think Macy's right, and I think I'm right. It's a matter of just marketing yourself more in different ways and getting some swings at the plate, because if you get the swings at the plate, you're going to close your fair share. So Macy's is exactly right in this scenario. Just get creative and find different ways to get in front of people. I remember one time Kat, early on in her thing, she had nothing going, and she set up some event, had all these people come. People thankfully came. And I don't think she sold anything at the event, but she met somebody who introduced her to something else. Something stirred the pot and got her going some way just from creating some activity. So I think, creating some different types of activity and doubling down in your case, because you're in a program that will work, would be my recommendation.
Thank you. Those are great ideas.
And
I
Becca,
definitely think that's, yeah.
I had lab with you in academy. You are so high level. Like, keep doing what you're doing. Do not lose momentum. You have what it takes. You believe in what you do. And there's no doubt in my mind that something's going to take off for you. Just stay focused on serving people. You are a freaking superstar. I literally think about your lab all the time because you did such
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks.
Just get swings at the plate. Swings at the plate.
Yeah.
And
Thank
that's
you.
what this thing's about, is trying to get more people around us to talk to. Did that help, Becca? Do you have any ideas around that, what you may want to try to do?
Yeah, I think I probably need to think about it a little bit, but one thing is that's I think definitely missing in the work that I've been doing is really the in-person, the conversations, the going to where the people are. I
Mm,
think that could really help. I am a more extroverted person. I get a lot of energy from having those types of conversations anyways. And so I've really not done that a lot in my faster way coaching business.
yeah.
So it would be interesting to explore that and stir the
Yeah.
pot and find out some ways.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking about setting up like a workout at the park or something like that and inviting people to come or
Yes,
There you go.
Becca, do it.
Yes, there you go. There's
yeah, I know.
B&I groups, there's Chamber of Commerce. I mean, there's all kind of things you can go do.
Yes.
Lloyd, can I tell you what
And
this is making me think about?
Yeah.
Lloyd, if you've been on this if you're on this clubhouse and you've been around for a while, Lloyd has some opinions kind of about marketing, because marketing is kind of like the easy out from selling. Sometimes it's like you can just kind of be behind your screen and just do your little posts and whatever, and it's not really active selling. Sometimes it's like our way of checking the box that we've sold that day. Lloyd, I hope I'm not putting words in your mouth, but it can just be this like easy out where you don't actually have to talk to people. So Becca, you realizing that and just saying that stirred like a thought in my head, where there's such this distinction with what the idea of marketing that's been sold in the world and the actual concept of interacting at the market, like Macy said, going to where people are. And it's just such, if we can all just think like that, like, okay, my marketing, yes, I could post on Instagram, yes, I can pay for ads, but it doesn't matter if I'm not truly interacting in the market and putting my time and energy into sales activities and really being confident in how I'm interacting in the market. So that, Becca, 100% is what you should be doing, because you have the skills to do it. And then all the other stuff is like a cherry on top when you, have good marketing tools.
yes, I have one more thing to say and then I'm done. I also like everybody is moving online, right? It's like the thing to do is to pull everything virtual, which is such a gift and so amazing. I would just encourage everyone listening to this to think, okay, I might live online, but how can I present myself in a way that is like new and different, that isn't a typical online business? And like truly like having a workout in person, if there is that nobody that comes, like just film it and you have a different scenery, a different, background that might get someone's attention, and just keep showing up every week for that in-person, workout while you don't have an in-person business, generating that activity and filming it and posting it. Something about that is like, wow, Becca, like she is different. She might run her business virtually, but she is showing up in a way that isn't typical of online. And I really vibe with that. And I know that kind of stuff really catches my attention too. So thinking out of the box is so game changing, and get outside from your out behind from your computer and get out into the market. You will not regret it. And this is really for everyone, not just for Becca, but Becca is at the stage right now. So you're doing awesome, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really encouraging. This has actually been something I've really been craving, so I feel really thankful to have the encouragement to go for it. I've just really been craving stepping outside of behind my phone and behind the computer screen. I actually took a step back from doing a lot on Instagram a couple of months ago, and I'm doing a little bit, but it just really feeling like, I don't know, I wasn't getting a lot of traction. And so I'm eager to find other ways to do traction, to get that traction. And so I think these are all great ideas, and I just really appreciate the encouragement too.
Awesome. Yeah, that was good information. Macy, everybody, that was good information, Kat. Yes. Very good. All right. Anybody else have anything they want to say or ask? Okay. Well, you guys have a great weekend, and we will talk again on Monday. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening, and we hope this episode encouraged you in your journey. Come join us over at the Winner's Circle Facebook group of online entrepreneurs who are winning the game of life. The link is down in the show notes. We'll see you there.